Hi guys, this is Dr. Janki Shah from Government Dental College and Hospital, Ahmedabad. I'm here to speak about the next part of infection control, the concluding part, that is waste disposal, which forms an important short note, or it is a part of the lecture of infection control in a dental clinic. So what actually is hospital waste? It refers to all the waste generated, discarded and not intended for further use in the hospital, while biomedical waste is any waste which is generated during diagnosis, treatment, or immunization of human beings or animals in research activities. The various kinds of waste can be the following: infectious waste, pathological waste, sharps, pharmaceutical waste, genotoxic waste, chemical waste, waste with high metal content, example mercury, pressurized containers, or radioactive waste. Now, a question of waste disposal can be divided into five. That is, first you collect it, then you store the collected waste, then you transport it to the place temporarily, then it is taken for treatment, and then final disposal. So, first collection. The sharp should be collected together in puncture-proof, rigid, impermeable, tamper-proof container and have to be labeled as sharps. The bag should be marked with International Infectious Substance symbol. A highly infectious waste should be packed in red bags and immediately autoclaved. Return expired drugs to the pharmacy. Label the waste clearly. Heavy metal and radioactive waste should be collected separately. The waste bag should be tightly closed or sealed when three-fourths full by tying or sealing. That is because if they are filled to the brim and you tie it, then the waste will overflow outside. Waste should not be allowed to accumulate at the point of production. So it should be repeatedly collected and the bag should be replaced. The bag should be labeled and the bag and container should be replaced immediately after cleaning. Uh, there is a mercury spill which can happen in a dental clinic. So what do you do during a mercury spill? The first thing you do is you shut up the air conditioner, and then you open the windows. Then you collect, locate where the mercury is. Um, Before that, you wear your protective gown, your mask, your eyewear, and then you collect it with a cardboard and you put it in a glass container, or you suck it with a, syringe, and then you put the syringe as well as your gloves and everything into a sealed bag. Label it as mercury toxic waste, which later on can be taken away. A torch also can be used to locate the mercury. In case the mercury has been spilt in an inaccessible area and cannot be collected by a cardboard or a syringe, then it is neutralized by sulfur powder or by zinc oxide powder and then collected and then disposed of. If there is blood spillage, then you wear again your personal protective equipments, that is uh, your gloves, your mask, your headgear. Cover the site with tissue paper or any absorbent. Pour the pure hypochlorite solution on or around the site. Leave it for 30 minutes. Take it and dispose it off in the yellow bag. Clean it with pure hypochlorite solution and then with your routine mop and then do hand wash. There are various color coded bags where the waste is collected and it is then disposed. The storage area should be impermeable floor with good drainage, which is easy to clean and disinfect. There should be good water supply. There should be easy access for staff and vehicles. It should be inaccessible for animals, insects and birds. There should be good lighting and ventilation, and it should not be close to the food sources. The waste should be transported by wheeled trolleys, containers or carts which are easy to load and unload. There should be no sharp edges so that it does not damage the bags, and it should be easy to clean. The vehicles have to be cleaned and disinfected daily. The final disposal is done by incineration. There are various types of incinerators. They can be pyrolytic, single chamber, or rotary kiln. Waste can also be disinfected chemically. It can be given wet thermal treatment or microwave irradiation. There is also encapsulation, safe burying, and inertization, depending on which waste it is. So, first we see incineration. It is carried out by incinerators. That is a high temperature dry oxidation process that reduces the organic and combustible waste to inorganic incombustible matter and results in very significant reduction of waste volume and weight. It is used to treat waste that cannot be recycled, reused, or disposed of in a landfill site. Pyrolytic incinerator, it is pyrolytic, there is a pyrolytic chamber and a post combustion chamber. It is made up of steel with an internal lining of refractory bricks which are resistant to corrosion, gas, and thermal shock. The waste gets thermally decomposed through an oxygen deficient medium temperature combustion process. The gases produced are burnt in the post combustion chamber by a fuel chamber. Incinerators are suitable for infectious waste including sharps, pathological waste, pharmaceutical and chemical residues. They're expensive and require well-trained personnel, but they should be located at a minimum distance of 500 meters from any human settlement because they release toxic gases. There is a single chamber which is cheaper, which treats wastes in batches. That is, there is a 210-liter steel drum with both ends removed, and the wood has to be added to the waste till it gets completely burnt. It causes emission of black smoke, ash, toxic gases. Then there's a rotary kiln type of incinerator, which is like a rotating oven. There is a post combustion chamber. It is on an axis of 3 to 5 degree slope and rotates 2 to 5 times per minute and can operate continuously. The temperature achieved is either 1200 to 1600 degrees centigrade. It is used for infectious, chemical, and pharmaceutical waste, including cytotoxic. It requires well-trained personnel, it is expensive, and corrosive waste may damage the lining of the kiln. Chemical disinfection can be done by formaldehyde for 45 minutes contact. Ethylene oxide it can be done by 4 to 12 hours. Glutaraldehyde 2% aqueous solution 5 minutes for disinfection and 10 hours to kill spores. Sodium hypochlorite and chlorine dioxide too can be used for disinfection. The methods of refuse disposal include dumping, controlled tipping or sanitary landfill, incineration, composting, manure pits, and burial. Encapsulation means you fill the containers made of high density polyethylene or metal drums with waste, fill it up with immobilizing material like plastic, foam, cement mortar, clay, and seal it off and dispose it off. It is a low cost, safe method but not recommended for non sharp infectious waste. Inertization means you mix the waste with cement and other substances before disposals so that it is inactive. It is suitable for pharmaceuticals and incineration ashes with high metal content. It is inexpensive and it is not applicable to infectious waste. Composting is an entirely a short notice as to you on composting itself. So it is a method of solid waste disposal where the excrement or sludge is combined with solid waste to produce manure-like material. There are two types. One is the mechanized process and the second is the Bangalore method. Mechanized process means the refuse is cleaned of rags, bones, metal and glass, and pulverization of the raw material and mixing it with sludge, and the compost is ready within 2 to 4 weeks. While by Bangalore method, it is by natural hot fermentation method in which trenches are dug and filled alternatively with refuse and excreta till it rises 30 centimeters above the ground. Bacterial action will generate yeast, which will decompose the substances to compost in 4 to 6 months. And this is then used as manure. So these are the questions asked to you in infection control. If you have any difficulty, please get back to me in the comment section. If you want help with any other topic in public health dentistry, please get back to me in the comment section. Thank you.